out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like things. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do it right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Drop a bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that ground. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, gots to go. Gots to go. To the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they work. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might get a little more lip G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing it side between them buns. Shawty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like in '94 when I had the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip.
I'm Jim Sterling. I like the colour of money and the taste of dick.
All right, Chad, how's everybody doing tonight? All right, how's everybody doing? Oh, man. It's been a long couple of days for me. Had to run my dad up to the VA emergency room yesterday. Apparently he's had some sort of stomach infection all fucking week. Shitting his guts out. And finally, I just noticed he was just completely dehydrated because you can't get a boomer to fucking drink water. It's like Thursday. I was like, my gosh, you're clearly dehydrated. Like, here, come on, we got to drink. You got to drink more water. You got to drink more water. He just doesn't. On Friday, I'm like, you should go to the doctor. I'm fine. And then Saturday, I was just like, you know what? No, I'm taking you up to the VA. You don't do that. I'm like, no, you get in the damn car. And I mean, they kept him. He's still in there. Like, he was in there last night. He'll be in there tonight. I don't know what the hell. He did some sort of It's not important. It's none of y'all's. I shouldn't be talking about someone else's personal issues, anyways. But yeah, he's still in there. So, oh man, yeah, I don't know. We're probably gonna talk about Mudahar a little bit. Mudahar apparently been faking being an engineer for like 10 years. I never really watched a ton of his shit. I think I discovered him when him and Carl Jobs were going. Not Billy Mitchell. Who were they going? The Completionists. They were going hard on the Completionists, which I guess the Completionists can come back now. I don't know if that's internet lore or internet fucking logic, internet rules, but the two people that took them down have themselves shit their fucking respective beds. So I don't know. I guess Gerard, you're just allowed to come back now. I'm not sure how that works. I think the curse has been lifted off you and put on the. I don't know. I mean, it's not that Gerard didn't fucking deserve it. Don't get me wrong. I just just now that Benchlov's dad is away, he can play Sonic unsupervised. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't know, man. I'm pretty burned out on gaming in general. I legitimately have thought over the last few months about selling my fucking collection. I could use the money, God knows. But the only thing that holds me back from that is I know how my ADD mind works. I know sometimes you're burned out on shit, and then like enough time goes by and you'll just the hyperfixation will crawl right back up towards it. So like it would be damn near impossible to buy that shit back. Unless there's a complete crash in the retro gaming market, like a complete one. So I hold on to it. Chat says, honestly, I thought Mudahar was alright. A better slot merchant than Penguins Zero. Is that how you say his name? But yeah, man, we might watch the video a little later on where the guy just rips it, because he just shows like time and like when you really sit down and watch all the fucking lies stacked up against each other, it's just like Mudahar. So in Mudahar's own words, even though YouTube's not his job, even though he uploads every day, and he gets up and he scratches his balls and he day trades, but also he has a business. He owns a business. He's also a manager in an office, and he doesn't let people joke in the office. Except they also have a pool on which streamer will die first. He's an engineer. He's a software engineer. He's a cybersecurity engineer, which I don't think is a real thing. I don't know. Because he got a degree for engineering, but also he dropped out of university and never got a degree, but also he got a degree in film. And he's a video editor. There's probably more. And you might think, okay, well, some of this, like, people change jobs, you know? But Mudahar's not that old. Like, Mudahar's been saying all this shit for, like, since he was, like, 16 on fucking YouTube. Chet says the fact that he hasn't addressed it is kind of damning. Well, he sort of addressed it in the sense that you're not allowed to say engineer in his comment section. If you type the word engineer in his comment, it will get you. It will not show up for other people. It's fucking banned. His lies are so thorough. It's like I actually think Mudahar just like is shifting through the multiverse. Like every 3 months we get a new version of Mudahar. Like that episode where Worf was doing that. Every time Geordi turned on his visor, he shifts to another universe. We have to send all the Mudahars into the cosmic rift to reset it. Chad says, why wouldn't he claim that YouTube was his job? Nothing to be ashamed of. Supposedly he was making mad fucking bank at one point. I don't know why you, like... Chad says he's an MIT physicist. I don't know if he claimed that. I don't know if he claimed that. His dad cured Ebola and his mom is a brain surgeon. His uncle is John Nintendo. Well, he's probably said that about his mom and dad. Chet says he's written code. He's a software engineer. Oh, that's another one. Mudahar is writing a code. I don't know fuck about this, but even I know it doesn't sound right. Where you can inject AI into video games to upscale the video game. I don't know how you inject AI. Is that like the Borg injecting nanites into you when it assimilates you? Is that what it is? Is that how it works? I don't know, but Mudahar was working on that, and he was pretty sure he was going to be able to sell it to Microsoft. But also, he also said he's not good at coding in another video. Oh, man. Oh, it's fun stuff, man. You know, honestly, fuck him. And here's where I said fuck it. Like, it was about sometime last year, I think it was, he got all pissy on Twitter because people were making Indian jokes. So he quit Twitter, but then he comes back quietly a month later. It's like, fuck off, man. Just banter back. Wolfland says, does he mean an upscaling algorithm? Don't we already have those? No, Wolfland. See, his, you inject into it, right? Is that a term? It doesn't sound like something they would say. It really doesn't. And he's also full of shit. So I feel like he's just being full of shit again. Just as so the word engineer is his trigger word. I bet if you like typed engineer, but you spaced out, put a space in between each letter, it would show up in his comments. I don't know. I'm not suggesting anyone do that, but you should all do that. I'm probably going to do that after the show, if I remember. Chat says he probably lies about being a YouTuber because his parents like, yeah, is this all just cope to like keep his dad quiet? Like, son, you're not supposed to be on the YouTubes. You're supposed to be an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer, Dad. I'm a inject nanites into the software engineer guy. I injected nanites into this Super Nintendo cartridge, and it became an N64 cartridge. It's fucking amazing. I love how he said something like inject it into the video the video program for a video game. God. It sounded like if I was trying to bullshit my way through a tech conference. But yeah, he's gonna sell that code to Microsoft though. They're gonna need that. They're gonna it's gonna be for the new Xbox 720. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But he's not a YouTuber, guys, even though he spends all day on YouTube. And he runs a company. And but it's not a YouTube company. It's a software engineer day trading company. Oh man. Oh, PBS is dead. Can we get some S's in the chat to spit on the grave of fucking PBS? I don't have any nostalgia for PBS shows because my parents had cable. I wasn't that fucking poor. If you have nostalgia for PBS shows, I just assume you were poor. Like I assume you were so poor that you You didn't even have a decent enough TV back in the day to pick up like regular channels on broadcast. Like PBS, you could almost always get on rabbit ears back in the day. Almost every PBS show seems creepy to me. Like, okay, Mr. Rogers back in the day seems pretty wholesome. Early Sesame Street seems pretty wholesome, that kind of shit. And some of the more adult shows, I guess if you're into like British faggy shit, it's cool. And some of that's even cool. Like Red Dawn was cool, and that was on PBS for a while. But generally, like their kids shows all seem disturbing to me. And this goes back in the, like Barney was fucking disturbing. But you know, it was disturbing before they started putting like tranny shit and fuck white people in it. Yeah, if you like your childhood nostalgia is like Liberty Kids and Wishbone and fucking Cyber Chasers or whatever, you sound like a fag. All right, like, oh, that's what I watch. Really? You didn't watch Cartoon Network or fucking Nickelodeon or Disney Channel even? Like, I watched the cartoons that were made to sell me action figures. And then, like, stuff like Garfield or Beetlejuice or shit like that. Like, DuckTales and Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. Who was out here watching Wishbone? Are you kidding me? Again, if you the kids that grew up on that, like either their parents were poor or their parents were super strict and they thought PBS was safe. It was one of those two. Chad says, Beckloff, if you're burned out on gaming for feeling left out for playing games that are decades old, don't be. It ain't even that, man. I don't know, man. I'm reaching a point where it's becoming really, really apparent how repetitive and hollow a lot of it is. And again, I look, I know a lot of gamers going to rise up in the chat. Like, it's fine. If you want to play video games, fine. I'm not even judging you. But just so much of it, man, just feels like just a treadmill. But I'm not even losing weight. You know, like, I don't know. That's just where I'm at, man. If you fucking like playing video games, like playing video games. Cool. I will never probably play new games at this point. I can't. Unless the industry turns itself around entirely. I mean, I'm not... You know, I can't play shit on this potato laptop. And, you know, again, unless things turn around... a complete fucking 180. I'll never own a new console. The Switch was it. That was it for me. That was the last one. That was my jumping off point. I ain't getting a Switch 2. It ain't fucking happening. I ain't paying $80 to play a Mario Kart where I drive around in empty fields in between fucking races. I'm not paying $80 to play a fucking Donkey Kong where they redesigned him to look like shit. I hear nothing but praise about Donkey Kong Bonanza, and yet everything I see about it looks like ass. It's just mindlessly punching the ground forever. And then, like, the art style looks like shit. Like, Donkey Kong Country games, up to even, like, the fucking Returns and Tropical Freeze, they looked like places. Not like floating fucking levels. Like, I kind of expect that in a Mario game because it is so platform heavy, and like Mario's just a universe where I just accept that shit just floats all the fucking time. There's just blocks of bricks that just float in the air, and it's been that way since 1985, and I just fucking accept it. But I don't know, man. Donkey Kong games always had a bit more atmosphere. Like, it was cartoony, but it felt like it took place in a place. You know? Pardon me. No snotty nose there. Chat says GOG just gave out a bunch of adult games in Postal too, so feel for free. So I kind of wanted to play Postal. I honestly wouldn't mind playing Postal. Like, it's stupid repetitive shit, but like, I don't know, man. There's something to be said for those just shoot motherfuckers in the face games. Like, that's all I do in like Grand Theft Auto games. Really, it's just cause mayhem. Yeah. Sometimes you want to kill stuff, and it's best that that stuff be fictional. Red Pill Renegade. To be honest, PBS shows were barely on my must-watch list. I was more interested in cartoons that scratched my action itch, like X-Men and Batman the Animated Series. Chat says, somebody at Nintendo must have a huge boner for Pauline because she popped up a lot in recent years. You know, I don't know if it's completely confirmed in the game, but I did watch a video where they talk, because Pauline's like young in that Donkey Kong game, and it's like, okay, but like, Cranky is the original Donkey Kong from years ago who kidnapped Pauline. That was the fucking timetable they've been going with for all this fucking time. And somebody was like, there's little dialogue hints that say that this is Pauline's granddaughter, which is kind of interesting. But again, I have no fucking... Chat says you have 2 hours to make an account and claim it. I think I have a GOG account, to be honest. I'd have to figure out how to get back into it. I ain't been in it for years. I don't know. Like I said, I have no interest. I can't imagine what kind of dream game I would have to see pop up on the Switch too for me to even be tempted. Chat says, was Arthur a PBS cartoon? Because I hated the hell out of that show. It was, yeah. I vaguely... Arthur came out when I was like in middle school, so I never watched it. But I vaguely remember from like kindergarten seeing like the little books that it was based off of. But Arthur was apparently really popular. I think there's... Only recently did they stop making it, if ever. Like, they were making new episodes for... Good God, there was an episode of some in the 2010s. They were having like gay teachers in it and shit, and we were making fun of them on the show. So like, it says Reading Rainbow was PBS. Reading Rainbow is all right. It says it's Sydney Bedlaw's favorite blonde now. Probably, yeah. Most of what I know about Arthur is from the fucking memes. But no, I don't have any nostalgia for Arthur. Even if it came out when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have watched Arthur. Or what's the one with the little bald kid that always has a tantrum and his parents fucking enable it? I'm picturing a Calu. It's like a French word. I cannot remember how to pronounce it, but like Calu. He's like the worst kid in the world. He's bald because God hates him. Just says Crowder voiced a kid on Arthur as a kid, if you want an idea how old it is. Crowder seems to have nostalgia for like PBS shows.
Have you heard of Jesus?
He did a bit making fun of Wishbone like 10 years ago, probably now. Or not making fun, but kind of parodying Wishbone. With a dog goes sniffing out the bullshit, and it's like, I didn't even know what it was referencing until somebody showed me like the Wishbone clips that I think I vaguely remember knowing of. Yes, I see. Dashing gave me some IT money. Dashing Rogue tips $5 and says, the SARS and the H-1B visa is why so much censorship from big tech. Threatened the Jeet with deportation unless, of course, he does not redeem gift card. Also, Berto is trans and Pauline is a cougar. Berto is originally trans. You're right. Berto is a transvestite, at least. I don't think Birdo was on it was on fucking hormones or HRT or anything like that. I don't think Birdo cut his dick off. I don't think he ever went that far. He just put a bow on it and pretended to be a girl. You know. We didn't take things too far back then, okay? He was just doing a RuPaul bit. But yeah, that's in the Mario 2 that's in the Mario 2 fucking instruction booklet. Birdo is a boy that thinks it's a girl. Chad says, I don't know. I blame women at least with the bank censorship on games. As of late, that's the case. Birdo Blair White cosplay. I would honestly think it would legitimately make me laugh if, like, a Halloween some year or something, like Blair White dressed up as Birdo. Like, that would honestly get a laugh out of me. Godzilla Cells says, I always loved how in the 90s, to avoid beating up on a woman, American companies would just make the character a troon. Yeah, didn't they do that with the pink-haired chick in Final Fight? Poison? Birdo being a girl is trans erasure. Exactly. All right, every trans day of remembrance, always bring up Birdo. Chat says, I do have some nostalgia for PBS shows. I don't know. Well, I guess your parents were poor. I don't know. Did you not have cable? Were your parents just strict? They didn't let you fucking watch? Like, why weren't you, if you were an 80s kid, you should have been watching some cartoons designed to sell you some action figures. Some fucking Transformers and G.I. Joe and Thundercats and Turtles. And Bucky O'Hare. And other shit like that. The very short-lived Toxic Crusaders. 2000s kids, you should have been watching Kim Possible or fucking Cartoon Network, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, that kind of shit. I guess that's more 90s, early 2000s. Kat says, when I was a kid, I played outside. Yeah, uphill in the snow both ways. I did play outside a lot. I really did not spend like entirely too much time in front of the TV. I never could. Like, I had an NES, I had a Sega Genesis after that, I had Game Boy and Game Gear, but like, I never could marathon games. I didn't really marathon shows. Plus, there was a lot of times like shows would come on and just had no interest. There'd be a lot of times it was just, I mean, we had cable, but it really was only like 35 channels tops. You know, and so like, you know, you go to Nickelodeon and it's like maybe they're playing Danger Mouse or fucking Count Duckula. And that's cool. Maybe they're playing Nicktoons like fucking Rocco or Ren and Snimpy. Or maybe they're playing like Salute Your Shorts or Hey Dude, which fucking sucked. They fucking sucked. So, you know, you're flipping around and it's like there ain't nothing on. You know, go outside. It's back in the day, too, when you just left the house. It's just a child, just 8, 9, 10. You just leave the house and you're just in the ether. Nobody knows where the fuck you are. No cell phone or nothing. You just leave. And you're just gone for hours. Doing God knows what. Chat says they gave the Asian guy from King of the Hill the Apu treatment. Did they? I thought Bobby was, isn't Bobby married to Connie in this? I thought I had heard that. That he was married to Connie. I know that Bill's gone, it looks like, and there's like a black guy in the neighborhood. They did about 6 episodes with the Dale voice actor. I don't know if they'll recast him or maybe kill the character off. Who knows? Chet says America's more diverse than when we were kids. That's true. Let's see. Chet says, I learned from Pippa, the dude who directed Carnival of Souls, lived long enough to direct episodes of Reading Rainbow. Weird white kid with Asian wife. Many such cases. Chat says Bill was in the trailer. I thought Bill was missing in the trailer. I thought one of the three of them was gone. I thought it was Bill. I could be wrong. I only watched trailer once or twice and a while ago. Godzilla Cells says, I had to carry a cell phone as a kid, but it was never used, so my parents still didn't know. See, you're younger than me, man. You're about 10 years younger than me. I had no fucking cell phone. Earliest cell phone I had, I was like a senior in high school. And it was at that point where it's like, for God's sakes, don't use it unless you have to. Because we're counting minutes and shit, you know. Chet says there was something in the trailer about Connie practicing ethical non-monogamy. So I guess Bobby is a cuck now. Oh, God, no. I hope if they do that, it's just like Bobby has a harem. Because Bobby was always low-key a little bit of a fucking Chad. Like, his grandfather fucking adored him for that. There's one episode that's stuck in that. So his grandfather wanted to toughen Bobby up, right? So he takes him to, like, some little kid, like, some kid fat camp, boot camp thing, right? And he tries to, like, just break Bobby down, and you can't break him. Like, he throws him in a box that's like 110 degrees or something in the hot sun, and they let him out, and he's just like, yeah, it was fine, whatever. And the grandfather's like, you're like a mud puddle. Like, you're useless, but you can't be destroyed. You punch a mud puddle, and what good does it do you? It's still a mud puddle, and now you're covered in mud. Chet says, I've never seen King of the Hill. I've only seen a little bit of it back in the day. I was never a huge King of the Hill guy. I don't understand how King of the Hill has quite the cult status it does. It was often pretty fucking boring at times. It really was. Chat says, I wish the owners of PBS realized the cartoons are supposed to be entertaining. Imagine if not mind-numbingly boring and soulless. I mean, they don't even own Sesame Street anymore. Fucking HBO of all companies owns that now. Which probably makes Jim Henson roll over in his grave, because he was very adamant that not be overly commercialized. He actually was going to sell the Muppets to Disney in the 90s. And that was held up because Disney wanted to buy Sesame Street too. And he was like, nah, leave that one be. Because he viewed that as basically a charity. Like, leave that be. That's to teach poor kids to read and shit. Leave it alone. Chad says, King of the Hill is a show that's great to watch random episodes of as to come on TV in an hour block every once in a while, but never got the impression it was binge-worthy. I don't know, man. To me, it was at, like, best. I think the first season I really enjoyed it because there just really wasn't much on like it, but after the second season, I started to really lose interest. And past that, it just became something that, like, if it was on in the background, it would often get a chuckle out of me, but that was about it. Oh, pardon me. Speaking of creepy and PBS, Elmo fucking sucks and always has. I did catch a little bit of Sesame Street when I was a very small child. I wasn't really into it, but, you know, it's on, you know. So I am familiar with the Sesame Street characters. I don't remember Elmo ever being a thing when I was a kid. Supposedly he came about in the 80s, but he just wasn't big. I remember Grover, and he was even a superhero. I remember Big Bird and Snuffleupagus and the Count and, you know, all that kind of shit. Bert and Ernie and stuff, but I don't remember Elmo. And Elmo's fucking annoying. I was... Maybe I was in middle school, I think, when Elmo was I remember, like, seeing news stories about, like, Tickle Me Elmo being the toy everybody couldn't get for Christmas that year. That kind of shit. Like, Elmo's just fucking annoying. There feels like there's a depth to the early Sesame Street characters. Which, again, that's because Jim Henson was a fucking genius. And he surrounded himself with other geniuses who were great at what they were doing. So there does genuinely feel like there's a heart and depth to Sesame Street, even though it's literally made for babies. And it arguably doesn't have to have any of that. But nonetheless, it did. So there's depth to some of those early characters. There really is. You know, just like there was to the Muppet Crew. But Elmo's just like a spoiled little fucking narcissist toddler shithead. Let's see. Fun fact about Jim Henson, they are globalist benefactors who made the HIB Muppet. Elmo came about with Rosie O'Donnell. I remember Elmo came about, Rosie O'Donnell, it was about that time, 95, 96. But Elmo, I looked it up, he did exist in the show in the 80s. He just wasn't really minor. Oscar, people bring up Oscar. Again, like, a certain depth to a kid's show that there's just a character who's a grumpy dickhead. And he's not dunked on. You know, normally a kid's show would have a character like that, and he's just the bad guy. You know what I mean? He's just like everybody. He's the bad example. Don't be this way, kids. This is terrible. This guy's depressed. Let's all shit on him. And Sesame Street's just like, everybody's just like, yeah, he's a fucking grouch. What do you want? Like, he's just kind of a dick, but we love him. He's family. Like, Godzilla Cell says, I never got into either, but I always get most of the Sesame Street and Muppet characters mixed up outside of the really well-known ones. The only one that existed in both was Kermit. Kermit was on Sesame Street all the fucking time. And I think Sesame Street can still use him. Like, I think he exists in both worlds kind of thing. If you've never watched it, it's beautiful, like, background noise to have on at Christmas. Something to watch and not pay too much attention to, but just have on in the background. Perfect to have on in the background like a Christmas party. But the Muppet Family Christmas Special from like 1990 is amazing. Because it has both the Muppets and the Sesame Street characters. And they're all basically just having a house party. And there's almost no plot to speak of. They're all just having a house party, essentially. And just hanging out with a Christmas party and bullshitting and all. And it's just adorable. It is absolute Christmas kino. Just as Kermit is a constant throughout all multiverses like Stan Lee. I just imagine those things exist in the same world, and Kermit just splits his time between doing the Muppet stuff and hanging out on Sesame Street. Chat says, most shows these days have a habit of peaking too early. So much that the show becomes a mixed bag quality-wise. Rick and Morty and Harley Quinn comes to mind. Yeah, Rick and Morty probably peaked with season 2. It's still good for a laugh, at least last I saw. I still don't think it's a terrible show by any stretch. Now I'm probably a season behind at least, but when I do sit down and watch Rick and Morty, it's usually still alright at least. But it definitely peaked with season 2. And yeah, the fan base is cringe, but you know, after a while, you don't let that ruin it for you. Yes, Red Pill Renegade often does like post the same thing like twice or 3 times in a row. I don't know why he does that. I don't know. It's no big deal. Godzilla Cell says the only episode of Muppets I ever saw was Allison Cooper, and he spends the entire episode trying to get the cast still souls. I think that's from the '90s Muppet run too. Chat says I stopped with Rick and Morty after season 5. I'm not even sure if I'm at season. What are they even at now? Aren't they only at like season 6? Because they do a season every fucking 2 years. I don't know why the turnaround on that show has always been so poor. I mean, look, Smiling Friends is definitely better, you know? And even Rick and Morty, like, maybe some of its peak was better than other adults, but, like, I'd still rather just watch a whole bunch of Aqua Teen or even Robot Chicken. Chat says PBS shows were so bad it made Captain Planet watchable despite the obvious environmental propaganda. When they started Cartoon Network, like Ted Turner owned it, and Ted Turner insisted on Captain Planet being on every fucking network he owned, but especially Cartoon Network had to fucking play it. And the people, because it was ratings poison, Cartoon Network's trying to start off. They actually made a game of like trying to bury it, see how like far in the schedule they could like, can we play this at like 2 a.m. without pissing Ted off? Because we have to play it at least once. So could we just make it like 2 a.m. or something? Mr. Bone says, I never watched Rick and Morty or Game of Thrones. I feel vindicated. Rick and Morty's worth a watch. It is. I mean, look, I know it's fashionable now to hate on it. And yeah, the fucking fan base was cringe. I get you, you know. I remember a certain fucking bald Canadian that literally did a show of, like, back in the day of be a Rick in a world full of Jerry's. It's like, yeah, that's fucking cringe. But it is worth a watch. Yeah. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but yeah, it's worth a watch. I don't know how far you'd get into it, though. Again, it peaks with season 2. Now, I think it's still good after that, but it's like how Simpsons peaked with like season like 8 or 9, something like that. But it was still pretty good for a while. Because it was at enough of a high point that like you had a long way to go down before you got to bad. Simpsons is still decent for at least a couple of seasons after its run. And then it's like hit or miss for a while through the 2000s. It really doesn't... It's not till like you get to like the late 2000s. I want to say like 08, 09, maybe 2010. Where it gets flat out undeniably bad. Chat says Tom Cruise was Captain Planet. I don't believe Tom Cruise was Captain Planet. No. I don't believe you. No. I know they had a lot of big celebrity things. They had a lot of big name voice actors and shit. But no, I don't believe Tom Cruise was in it. Doesn't sound right. Matt Britt says, when is Bonnie going to release the Bedgeloff files? I don't know if we need to release the Bedgeloff files. Come on. You know, there are no files. You made that up. Oh, gosh. You know, I mean, we are getting deportations, and it's good. I don't know if they're as fast as they need to be, but good. There's a lot of good things about the Trump administration. And it's hard to be happy about any of them because how badly... I'm not even mad I didn't get the fucking Epstein files. I kind of knew I wouldn't. On some level, I knew, but it, like... Be like, hey, man, most of this was destroyed by the people that were in here last. There's nothing we can do. I'd still be a little suspicious, but I'd be like, all right, whatever. But no, you're going to be like, oh, it's just... Okay, so Dashing Rogue says Tom Cruise was originally cast to voice Captain Planet in Captain Planet Planeteers, recording parts for the first 6 episodes, but he backed out of the project. Is it fucking true? Hang on. So he's in the first 6 episodes? I really watched very little of Captain Planet. It was dog shit. See. Comes up. Tom Cruise was originally cast as Captain Planet. He only stuck around for 6 episodes before bailing. Holy shit, dude. I knew they had some reasonably big names in there. Dashing Rogue says I was a fan of Captain Planet. I don't know if that's something I'd admit out loud, dude. Like, I don't think ISIS could torture that information out of me, but alright. Admire your honesty, at least. Just as that must have been crazy expensive. Tom Cruise was in his prime in the 90s. Oh, Ted Turner threw ungodly amounts of money at that show. That show has some of the... most shows back then you could constantly find animation errors and shit. Like pick through He-Man and Ninja Turtles and shit like that, and you just constantly, the masks are wrong colored or something, whatever. But, like, there's very little of that in Captain Planet. They had top animation studios. They sent shit back and made them redo it when it was wrong. They had top-of-the-line voice acting. Whoopi Goldberg was in that. Fucking LeVar Burton and shit. Like, they threw... Ted Turner poured a lot of money into Captain Planet. I wish I could get the rights to both Captain Planet and Bible Man. And just make a Captain Planet and Bible Man team-up series. Just dog shit right-wing and dog shit left-wing propaganda. Obviously, Bible Man never had that kind of money thrown at it. But still, it's the same concept. It's a superhero show your parents made you watch. That says Captain Planet have a redhead character. The American dude was redhead. The blonde chick was Russian. It was like the Brazilian kid with the monkey. The black guy was from Africa. I feel like I'm missing one. I'm definitely missing one. Okay, so the American had fire. I think he had fire, yeah. The black guy from Africa, I think he had earth. I don't fucking remember. Good God, I don't remember. I remember the Brazilian kid had heart, which I don't know what the fuck that does. I don't know what the other, they had the 4 elements, and he had the 5th element. He had heart, which lets you have a pet monkey, apparently, which is admittedly cool. I would love a pet monkey. I don't know if that's really handy in battle, but it is cool. Matt Briggs says, I remember the Nostalgia Critic episode about Captain Planet. He talks about the AIDS episode, for kids. There was a lot of talk about AIDS in the early 90s to children. I don't understand why the disease you catch from sexual activity and drug use needed to be explained to children so goddamn much. You know the other one? There's a shitty artist who made like stupid fucking stick figures. And Nickelodeon used to just fucking constantly do these whole segments on how amazing he was. Like he was fucking Walt Disney or Stan Lee because he loved cock and he died of AIDS. And like he literally just made stick figures and they looked like shit. And he like... and they were like, this guy's amazing, kids. Did you know he loved to suck cock and eat ass? And he died of AIDS. They drew stick figures. Oh God, what was his name? I gotta look it up. Hang on. I gotta look this one up. This is gonna bug me. Nickelodeon used to like, I just want to watch cartoons. Leave me alone. I'm a child. And they're like, hey, did you know this guy that loved cock died of AIDS? It's like, please stop. Chances I'm not old enough to know about this. But we're gonna learn about him. Let me figure out what the fuck was his name. I gotta find it. It's gonna bug me. It is gonna fucking bug me till I find it. Oh man. Here we go. What was that guy's name? My good buddy Andrew Banner. Okay. Keith Haring. They used to do segments on him. Like, oh God, we gotta watch that shit. You all gotta learn about Keith Haring. I had to learn when I was like fucking 9 and trying to watch Ren and Stimpy. And they were just like, hey, kids, this guy died of AIDS. He fucking loved dick. Oh my gosh, okay. Let's see. He just drew like fucking bullshit stick figures. And again, bullshit stick figures, and they treated him like... You've probably seen his stupid stick figures around. And they treated him like he fucking was Walt Disney or Stan Lee or some shit. Like, you'd expect that on like a kid's channel. Like, oh, it's the Walt Disney died, children. He made all these cartoon characters, you know, and Stan Lee. And this is... Mel Blanc, he was the voice of Bugs Bunny. And it's... But no, this is like, this guy drew graffiti stick figures, and he loved dick. What do you think of that, kids? Okay, let's learn about Keith Haring.
There are a lot of things that kids just don't understand about art. Like, who is that lady? And what is that? But there's one artist who is...
Look at this dog shit. Look at this low-effort horse shit. And look, I'm not even like uber right-wing on my opinions in art. I like some modern art. Okay? Guess what, chat? I like Picasso. I know it's apparently really trendy to shit on Picasso these days. Or like right-wing trads they'll drag out like his earlier paintings. It's just like normal boring ass fucking paintings. And be like, this was better. And it's like, if he just did that, you wouldn't know his name. There's a place for the weird and the wild and the wacky in art. I like Jackson Pollock. They just look neat. Yeah, I know they're low-effort horse shit, and he was basically trolling rich art collectors, which kind of makes it even cooler to me. I know a lot of it's stupid and dog shit. Sometimes it just kind of looks neat, though. Like, so I'm not even anti it, but like, this is just low-effort horse shit. And it's fine if you think it looks neat, all right? But again, we don't need to spotlight him like he's fucking... Again, I'll just use the example. Walt Disney or Stan Lee. And I know Walt Disney stole half of his shit. Neither one of them were artists, actually, really. Stan Lee was a writer. Point is, created things that fucking impacted the culture. His bullshit AIDS stick figures never impacted the culture as much as they tried to make it do that. But, like, look at this. This is just shit.
artist who was famous for creating things that kids and adults love.
Whoa, 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 whoa! In hindsight, that's a lot funnier. Chet says, "What's wrong with Picasso?" Oh, dude, you go on Twitter, like the trads and stuff. That every time an art Discord, it's like Picasso, his paintings are weird, therefore it's subversive and satanic. Like, shut up. So the gay guy is like putting on Nickelodeon. Here's a dude, and here's a dude fucking on all fours. Hey, you kids. So I looked last night, kiddos.
Kids and adults love. His name is Keith
Nobody liked it.
Haring. Hold on. Get ready. Nickelodeon presents Keith.
These were little segments they put in the commercial breaks too. You're literally like, can we get back to Danger Mouse? Like, what are we doing here? I'm trying to watch Count Duckula. I don't care about this literal balding faggot.
Haring loved to paint murals.
I do remember Nick News talking about... Nick News was a thing which was horrific propaganda, by the way. But they literally... I remember in like 93, I was still like only 10, and they're like, yeah, this guy loved dick. Like, what? Why are you telling me these things?
Huge murals. And he painted them everywhere. From the Berlin Wall to children's hospitals.
So just graffiti in a lot of cases. This looks disturbing, too. Imagine you're like 7, you're dying of cancer, and this fucking homo comes in here to paint just fucking... This bear looks like it's gonna come to life. Like the fucking Take On Me music video and come out of the fucking wall and kill you.
And for some, he had a little help. Like 500 kids for this mural in Chicago. It was almost as big as 2 football fields. And it took 50 gallons of paint. And like a lot of his murals, Keith did it for free.
I'm still a kid at heart. I mean, in my head, I'm still 15 years old. And I think...
Really? That's interesting.
Part of the reason that that I keep doing things like this is to stay young in a way, or to stay in touch with it.
And Keith never lost touch with kids, because even while adults were buying his paintings for thousands of dollars, Keith was still making sculptures for
Hang on a second. How'd that work out for us, huh? How'd that work out for everybody?
dollars. Keith was still making sculptures for children's hospitals and murals to fight drugs.
In a way, it's
Crack is whack. Keith prefers poppers, by the way. Not crack. What is he? What is he, some sort of Dendu? He doesn't like colored people in his bathhouse.
as important.
I'm projecting all these things on that. I don't fucking know. Maybe he was a perfectly nice man. I don't hate him because he loved cock. All right? I'm not... What am I? Fucking common filth? I love you, common filth. You know I'm playing. But, like, I don't hate him. But it's like, I didn't need to hear about him as a kid. It was dog shit, and I was just trying to watch Count Duckula. Leave me alone. Yeah, it says Keith never lost touch with kids. You're really not gonna let that pass without commentary? I think they meant his inner child, as opposed to the child chained up in his basement. Chet says he has a pedo phenotype. I mean, you're not wrong. Look, I said maybe he's a perfectly nice man. I wouldn't. When he's painting those murals for fucking, at a children's hospital, I'd make sure there was some supervision in the room. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. Maybe he was a perfectly nice man. I don't.
To maybe communicate to one person, to one 10-year-old person that's growing up, as it is to try to make.
He really wants to communicate with a 10-year-old person. Keith, you're not making this easy. All right, I'm trying to be fair to you. If I could just communicate with one 10, I gotta be honest with you, Keith. Communicating with a 10-year-old sounds exhausting to me. It sounds like a fucking nightmare. Have you ever communicated with a 10-year-old, like as an adult, and you realize, wow, they're retarded. Kids don't know shit. They don't know shit about fuck. And you're listening to them ramble on about, like, I just learned fractions. It's like, awesome, champ. It's fucking great. This is so boring. I really don't. But Keith really wanted to talk to 10-year-olds. Specifically 10-year-olds. Just as I never saw the point of having news shows on a channel kids were tuned in to watch cartoons. I never got that either. Like, just leave me alone. I'm just trying to watch cartoons. Chance his man's head like a balloon. He looks like Mr. Mackey from South Park. Yeah, imagine talking to a 10-year-old now. Gonna hear about Skibbity toilet and shit. Like, geez. Matt Brick says, how do you find other guys to fuck him looking like that? I guess he's a top. I don't know. I don't think you have to be pretty being a top. I don't really have my finger on the pulse of that community, but that would be my guess. I think tops can look goofy. I don't know. Especially when they're just holding down a 10-year-old. I think then it doesn't really matter. You just got to be able to draw really dumb stick figures so you're allowed in the children's hospital. His skull is full. His skull is big because it's so full of art. Remember the South Park episode where Mr. Maggie took off his tie and his head went back to normal size? Oh my gosh.
Any big effect on the entire world.
But Keith Haring did affect the whole world.
I don't think talking to a 10-year-old has a big effect on the whole world. Maybe in 30 years when he's an adult, but like.
Because before he died of AIDS in 1990,
Why are you telling me? There's the part. Before he died of AIDS in 1990, and we should have got bent over. Why was this on children's television? You could have just told me he died. Oh, he got sick and he passed away. He got AIDS, though. No, and this is the drawing of how he got it. The first symptom was a pounding sensation in the ass. And I'm just sitting there like, when does Ren and Stimpy come on? Where's the show where they're in lockers and they pour green slime on each other? Can we watch that instead? I'm sorry. Anyways, what was this?
1990, he showed the world that art. 1990, he showed the world that did affect the whole world. Because before he died of AIDS in 1990, he showed the world that art isn't just for adults. It's for everybody, especially kids.
Well, that was.
There are a lot of.
No, why'd you restart? That was. Well, that was inspiring, chat. You can't tell me the guy that edited that do that on purpose. Before he died of AIDS, and here's the dude on all fours. Oh. Why do I need you just it's 1991 and I'm just trying to watch Count Duckula and you got to tell me about this dude that died from butt sex. Cuz he drew stick figures. Thanks, Nickelodeon. Thanks, Nick. Very cool. Very cool, dead gay guy. Oh. Before he died of a popper's overdose. Before he died of a prolapsed ass. Hey kids, do you know what a pink sock is? Like, leave me alone. Ah. Oh my gosh. This was fun. I needed the distraction too. A lot on my mind. But I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we had some laughs. If you enjoy the content I put out, do consider supporting the show. Streamlabs.com/thebeckoff. Make sure you get it in there before I die of AIDS. And PayPal.it. Pardon me. Belching like DSP over here. PayPal.me/thebeckoff. Streamlabs.com/thebeckoff. Send a donation when I'm not live. I'll see it when I am live. Go ahead and read your message. And I will put a link to the Amazon wishlist down below. If you would like to buy me all my engineer supplies, they're all on there. All my important engineering supplies are on there. Chat says, I'm starting to remember why Nickelodeon never quite measured up to Cartoon Network. Only 2 great Nickelodeon cartoons. I'm going to say it. Only 2 truly great Nickelodeon cartoons. The 2012 Ninja Turtles and Rocko's Modern Life. That's a hill I'll die on. Let's see. Freddie Mercury outlived this guy. Yep. Amazing how spot on that picture popped up right after Kid made the statement. You can't tell me to do that on purpose. Anyways, like I said, we're wrapping the show up. Streamlabs.com/thebeckoff. PayPal.me/thebeckoff. I need money. Send me money. I need the fucking money. All right. Like if this guy can make $1 million or whatever for drawing stick figures while he's getting pounded in the butt, surely I can make $1 million for entertaining you. And I'll put a link to the Amazon wishlist down below where you can buy me all the engineering supplies I need because I am totally a YouTube engineer. I made a grilled cheese sandwich earlier. I'm a fucking cheese engineer. All right. Not allowed to say that in Canada, though. You get into legal trouble. That is about it for tonight, folks. I want to thank everybody for watching.